Let's see what else we can adjust in here to make this feel a bit better. I think the major shapes are already in there. We have the major shapes already in there. But I still feel there's something else we're still, yes, I found what we're missing. So you can see how, let me just show you guys this. Let me zoom in here like so. You can see the bones for the knuckles. You can see how the bones are a bit slimmer and kind of have like an indentation around here. But this one is going to be more visible for a thinner individual or a thinner individual. For someone who is maybe more fat in nature, she don't have that slimness of the or more or less like an indentation in there, unlike for slimmer people. Okay, let me just show you guys what I mean. If I should, yeah, this is a good example in here. You can see how this part goes in a bit more. So if I kind of make this, kind of create an impression that this hand belongs to someone that's a bit slimmer, maybe not too slim though. So we should kind of have like, if I should use the Dem standard brush, kind of have like, if the bone is around here, you kind of have like an indentation around here, something like so. Around here also, something like so. If I kind of smooth this out, though I was going to kind of compensate for it here, but I'm sure you guys get the idea. I'm just going to show you guys, if you want to kind of make this, if I look at this from an angle now, especially on this part from an angle, you can see that this gives an impression of this person being a slimmer person. So the bones are kind of, the flesh in there are kind of tighter compared to someone that is fatter in nature. So let me just undo that. It's just something you kind of keep in mind if you're kind of creating someone that has a kind of slimmer nature to him. But if it's a kind of fatter person, most of these bone knuckles are more or less like rounded up. They are not so obvious. Let me see. Yeah, I think I have an example here. Yeah, I have an example here. So you can obviously tell this is like an older male. You can see how the flesh kind of covers most of those knuckle region around there. They're more or less like covered up. Though you can kind of see the finger kind of taper in, which is very obvious. But most of the bony knuckles in there are kind of fleshed out because this is more of like a fatter person's hand than that of a slimmer person. Okay, so that's fine. So I think, yeah, so we can let's kind of continue with this. Yeah, I think we can continue with this arm now. We kind of add more secondary details to this. So let's do that. So to start with, I am going to the standard brush rather. I'm going to make, you can see this indentation around here. So I'm going to make that feel a bit more obvious. That's way too aggressive though. I'm going to make this feel a bit more obvious. But before I do that, let me kind of show you guys what they are, so you guys get a clearer idea. Let me look for a better reference for this. Yeah, something like this. It's more or less like this bony structure we have in here. That kind of hold those skeletal fingers in place. So you can see how they kind of go in, kind of meet in one kind of centralized point. So I'm going to kind of create the similar effect in here. So using the standard brush, holding Alt, let me use the standard brush instead. Maybe with more intensity to it. Something like so. So let's just smooth this out. This needs to have a better, smoother transition to it. You know, I think this one feels a bit too aggressive. Or maybe I can keep it and just smooth it out instead. Let me use a higher intensity smooth brush. I'm gonna like smooth this out. Kind of smooth them out. Gonna give them a softer feeling to it. Shouldn't be that aggressive. Maybe even use the standard brush and kind of build on that slightly and smooth them out a bit more. Okay, I think something like this should be fine. Then we need to kind of add, see some things we still need to add on top of this to make this feel a bit better, before kind of posing it and then giving it a more believable look. No, it's not. I think it's not too obvious. Let's use for a better area. It's more obvious here. You can see these knuckles in here. So let's kind of create that. Those knuckles in there is what we have. Let's see. I don't know if this is back of the hand. This should be no. Yeah, it's what we have. It's what we have around here. And you can see the angle to it. More or less like a curve downwards. More or less like a curve downwards. I'm going to show you guys another example also. I think I have other examples in here that would illustrate that too. Let's see if we can find. Let's see. It's not very obvious here though. Not so obvious here though. But let's just block that in. But the idea is that this part is higher. This part around here is higher. Then the knuckles on the back should be lower. Should be kind of lower, somewhere around here. So let's just kind of block that in. Let's see. I'm just looking for a better reference image that kind of shows that properly, with a better angle to it. Maybe we can let's just stick with this. Or let's just stick with this. Maybe I'll just even flip. Let me just flip this so we have the fingers like in the same direction as it is around here. So I'm going to be using the clay builder brush to kind of build that in. I see the transition more or less like something like, let me just use the damn standard brush, kind of carve that in, just to show you guys something like we have something more or less like so. That's kind of angle like this. It's not just straight. It should be more angled like so. So keeping that in mind, let's start blocking that in. So I'll just use the clay builder brush, kind of create something in there. Maybe even use my own hand as a reference point for it. So somewhere around here, something around here. But the ones that are kind of more obvious is these two. These two are more or less more obvious compared to the other two at the other end. We've already blocked that in already in here, which is what we have in here around here. So let me just move that out. We already have that in there already in place. So this also around here. It's not so obvious unlike compared to this one. So I'm just gonna build on this a bit, on these two a bit more than the others. I'll need to kind of push this down. Push this down like so. Maybe we use the move brush, kind of accentuate them a bit more. Something somewhere like so. For this one, not so much. I think the position is even fine for that. But more or less have something like this that's more tilted like so. So let me use the clay builder brush and kind of build on top that before smoothing it down. I'm just going to have a better transition to it. So something like this. Let me take down the smooth intensity so it's not too aggressive. We still want to kind of maintain the general shape in there. Maybe this is way too aggressive. Kind of have something that is a bit blended down, the smoother transition, but still having that bump or height information in there. Something more or less like this should be accurate enough for this. Of course, we can always refine this, but I think this should be fine for now. Okay, yeah, this seems fine. Yeah, this is fine. You can definitely work with this. So now for the frontal part of the arm, let's kind of see if we can block out some more interesting details on top of this to make it feel more or a bit more appealing. So yeah, something else also we need to kind of do in here that kind of make it feel more interesting. So something like so. Something like so. So it shouldn't be that obvious though. And I think the brush size I use is way too large for this. Shouldn't be as wide, as broad as this. Something here also. It shouldn't be as broad as this. Let's just use the pinch brush. Let's use the pinch brush and just pinch this in, just to tighten that up a bit more. Yeah, something more or less like so should be fine. Yeah, obviously we need to kind of blend this back down. Shouldn't be that aggressive. Yeah, something like this should be fine. Okay. So for the frontal part, let's just start using the, now we can use the kind of use the clay build-up brush now. Kind of add some interesting wrinkle breakup detail on top of this. Kind of make this feel more interesting. So with the then standard brush, start carving out something like so. Yeah, something like that should be fine. Was it going to refine that a bit more though? But let's just kind of get something in there. Let's get something in there. At the very least, let's get something in there. It doesn't really matter how many you put there, but let's just at least one, or just block one in there first at least. Then there's any need to kind of create another one in there, then you can go right ahead and just make that too. So you can see how from a distance now it kind of captures that wrinkled detail filling up on top of it. Let's do this for this piece also. Definitely have something in here. Okay. I might not need to even go crazy on this. The general silhouette of the hand is already in there, which is more or less exactly what I want. More or less exactly what I want. So I can decide to spend more time on this to kind of refine this even more, make it feel more interesting. But you guys can definitely do that though if you want to. That's completely fine, completely up to you. Maybe make this feel more interesting by doing something around here, like so. Maybe we use the clay builder brush, or the clay brush rather, and do that instead. So let's kind of add some more secondary. Okay, I think we can. Okay, yes. Before we do that, let's just, what else can we, okay, let's just do this, a smaller brush size. Let's take a smaller brush size for this to add like the secondary wrinkle on top of this. Or as if this is supposed to also need to kind of pose this, more or less like pose the fingers, just to give it a more organic look to it. Let me just Let me just smooth some of this out, some of this detailing out. They look interesting though. I might keep some of them. I think I might even keep some of them. I think I can keep. Yeah, some I can keep. I'll just keep. Show you this one in the center. Let me keep this. Something like so. Maybe do something interesting in here. Now some of these parts, we kind of have some kind of fleshiness around here. So let me kind of carve out something like this. Then we'll flesh that out using the clay build-up brush. Like a bit more fleshiness around here. You know what? I have a better idea. Let's use the standard brush. Yes. Standard brush will do a faster job for us. That's way too intense though. You're just going ballistic in here. So let me change this. Let me use something else. Let me use the clay build-up. Let me use the clay brush instead. I'm sure you guys get the gist of it though. Just to have like something around here, smooth this out. This one seems to work nicely though. So let me just smooth this out a bit more. Yeah, something like that should be fine. So let's now create something that should look like fingernails in there. Maybe take down the brush size. Something that should work for fingernails. So with them standard brush, can just block out something more or less like so. Something like this. It feels rather off though, but yeah, it's very off. It is very off. I think I need to make some a bit more correction to this. The idea is just to spend as much time as you possibly can on it and refine it until you have the desired results you're going for. Okay, it's terrible though, but I think the impression is already there. Yeah, it's too angled. Too angled. Yeah, I think we can live with this. This one obviously feels too angled also. Okay. Yeah, something like this should work. Something like this should work. Maybe I can just extend them out a bit more so it feels a bit longer than it is right now. Okay, but the impression, I'm sure you guys get the impression already, so anything we need to even fix in here that we have not done. Except for adding, this part feels a bit thinned out. This side view, so let's just kind of add some fleshiness to it. Maybe inwards. Okay. Something more or less here should be fine. Let's see if we can. Okay, since let me just make a duplicate of this and then just try and connect this back to the entire body. So I'll duplicate this. I'll go out of solo mode. This arm piece thing is a lot of work though. There's still a lot of things that obviously needs a lot of work. Let's get this arm piece now more or less in the position where it should be. Let's see, how should this be? Okay, obviously tilted this way. Size of the arm should be a bit smaller, probably a bit smaller than it is. This is even the wrong part. It's supposed to be on this other side. Yeah, it's supposed to be at this other side instead. Though I was thinking to kind of change up the proportions a bit more just to make this fit. The arms obviously feels off. Maybe I can just go up the tutorial and kind of get this to look right, because things to make a lot of adjustments to this just to get this to feel right. I should probably even do this off this tutorial just not to spend a lot of time in here. Yeah, I'll probably do this off tutorial. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson.